So either you talk about founder, you talk about the problem, you talk about the market, you talk about your approach. So others, he's failed. So yeah, Parim.
So for me, very important is the problem you are solving. That is very important, and then how you are going to solve that problem. So have you identified the problem? So we focus more on the problem statement that you prepare, and along with that we analyze the solution statement. What is the solution you are bringing, and whether that is really addressing the larger part of the society, whether that product is going to scale up, and whether that has got a present reference, and that product can be further changed. Suppose there is a change in technology, suppose there is a change in the business atmosphere, whether that product can sustain that changes. So that's our focus is mostly on product and solutions.
Yeah, the perspective. You just get 2 slides, right?
Maybe 2.5. Agree with all the points that the panelists put forward, but I like to see a bit of humanizing in the slides the presentations that come to me. I like to know a little bit of the founder background, the team, what has been their inspiration, just to get an idea of how you've gotten to where you've gotten and how you're going to take it forward. It just, a lot of, investors have different ethos when they invest. Some people would get sold on the problem. Some people are sold on the people building for that problem, and I'm one of those people. So I will meet you repeatedly again and again and again to really understand what kind of a team you are and what the people trying to build. So I like to see a little bit of that as well. But again, it's subjective. That's just my limited point on that.
I think
We go down to 1 slide.
yeah, sure. I think to sum it up, I think core value proposition of the product is the important and maybe the highlighter of your one-pager or maybe the executive summary which you're talking about. And if you can give a clear perspective about your transaction highlights in terms of how are you constructing the entire round in terms of your fund requirement, and most important, in case if you have a lead investor, okay, which basically is investing in your business or maybe already have invested in that business, then it is very important to highlight, and again, according to whatever the balance requirement is, if you want to still extend that round, maybe you can highlight those points as well. And of course the valuation, and it is also very important to also include what is the type of the instrument which you are offering. If it's a convertible round or it's an equity round, and that will build the perspective of an investor.
Thank you. So this was interesting, right? Now one more out of curriculum question. Okay, now I'm sure all of the panelists will agree that one of the problems with most of startups, including our clients, face is how much to ask for. Yeah, do I ask for, because fundraising is difficult activity. I tried it. All of us, you guys have tried it. Some of you have been successful, some have not as of yet. It's very difficult and it's very time consuming. So my question to the panel is, and I'm not asking for rupees. I don't expect them to answer that it's 2 crores or 5 crores or 50,000. My question is, what to do to arrive at the right valuation or the right ask is my question to the panel. How does a startup decide how much to ask for? What are the 2 or 3 inputs about it?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm hoping I pass this one. So on the valuation side, I'll just say many people come to me, and the most weirdest one was a sheet of paper, an A4 sheet of paper with some tech idea. And when I asked, I said, what do you have in mind? And the person said, I think I can get a valuation of 45 crores for this. And I actually asked, I said, are you doped out? Because it was just a sheet of paper, nothing else. And this, I'm telling you, is a question of perception and things which happen. A valuation obviously has to be based on your future cash flows, discounted cash flows to be precise. You have to put in various set of assumptions, P&L, balance sheets, and a full-fledged financial model needs to be created. You just can't get up in the middle of the year and say, my valuation is X, just because another edtech platform or another fintech platform had a similar valuation. Everyone has a different journey. The other very important thing in this element which we need to keep in mind is that how are we going to raise funds and what is the funds that I raise. Now many people don't even realize that they need funds for a long-term perspective. Long-term is at least minimum 18 to 24 months. I'm not talking about 36 to 60 months. People come with an idea that listen, give me this funding and I'll survive another 6 months. उसके बाद हम देख लेंगे एक और round कर लेंगे. Second round करना is not that easy, especially for a startup. That's very clear. You have legal fees, no offense meant. You have to find a new set of investors, and more importantly, what is the exit strategy that you have for the existing one. So please put into figure something which will make you survive 2 years. And you have to factor in things like branding, marketing, the cost of customer acquisition. If you're an app, you have to see a figure like what is my cost per download at this point of time? How is it that I can reduce over a period of time? These are the key factors you need to keep in mind. Pass or fail? Pass. Thank you.
Any other inputs? Yeah, correct.
So as investors, we generally see that the money that is spent is towards marketing, product development and team building. So we give weightage to these three items while deciding the fund requirements. And being chartered accountants, we are number crunchers. So we ensure that there is no overboarding of numbers, and we do little bit of more homework and while deciding the fund requirement that arrives. We don't believe in projections because projections are always very rosy. So we cut down the projections. We try to analyze more the ground realities in terms of what is the funding requirement that can be arrived by way of the marketing requirements, the product requirements, product development requirements, and the team building requirements. So we focus on these three, and while doing the valuation part of it, our focus is mainly peer comparisons. If it is a tech company, then doing the peer comparisons. If no such transactions have happened, we take just a call, similar type of transactions in the similar space. But it is more, we believe in the transactions that have happened, and then we discount that around 30 to 40% of the transactions that have already happened. And then we try to build around the valuation around that model.
Anybody else?
I think, see, valuation is always a tricky part. So you have to break that into several parameters. One is the mode of the business, right? So how you are different than the other players in the market, and is your business easily replicable, or what is the defensibility and the entry barriers to get into that business. That itself drives the valuation. So even though if it becomes more trickier, it is always check the precedent transactions and understand how they are valued, and accordingly you can come to a certain conclusion. But yes, it requires a lot of dots to connect, and in case if you still find it tricky, you can just explore the market, reach out to tier 2 VCs first, and try to understand the valuable feedbacks coming in, and maybe few adjustment here and there in your pitch and the valuation, so you can always build your optimistic and pessimistic projections as well. And one more important thing, which I always saw in many startup proposals, they don't make any cash flow statements. So that's a very big mistake. So it is very important for them to not only make the cash flow projection based on the current fundraise, but also factor in the future fundraise, so that investors, whoever is coming in, they can also try to calculate the exit multiple as well. So yeah, these are the things.
Thank you guys. Alicia, yeah.
On the point of valuation, what I've noticed a lot is, especially with tech or deep tech companies, that consider themselves very IP rich and hope that that is going to add to their valuation. They spend a lot of time on search, application, discovery, registration, but they don't have a game plan for commercialization of the IP, which is actually the actual cruncher. If you have IP just idle lying around, or it's not being protected, or it's not registered in your entity's name, it's registered in a founder's name or a key employee's name, it's of no value to you. You firstly need to get that sorted out. Okay, I've had tons of founders who exited companies with IP in their name, and the company is just left empty. And that severely impacts you can't sell what you don't own. So you need to really get your IP in order, and then a game plan to commercialize, which will eventually feed into your valuation as well.
Thank you, everybody. Now, one more question which we discussed in the lounge is I would like to ask the panel, what should the startup do in terms of competition? I'm talking about the pitch deck. I'm not talking about how they deal with competition on the ground. On the pitch deck or in their pitch, how should they or should they not? And if they should, how should they talk about competition? Is my question to the panel.
Yeah, please. Sorry. So I think first thing is acknowledging that you have competition. And the reason I'm saying this is many startup founders come and say, "Sir, mera koi competition nahi hai." And I feel like smiling that, okay, I mean, fine, but then my research team digs out a list of 20 startups which would be having a similar profile. And then said, no, sir, this is also still not matching. So I think key thing is admit that you have competition. Second very important thing is don't put competition in bad light. Okay? That's the worst thing which you can do. And the third thing, important thing is acknowledge what differentiates you from the competition. What is it that you're trying to do differently? Perhaps make a heat map. A heat map in which you're comparing yourself with 5 top competitors of yours, which could be global or local, depending on what kind of product you're doing. And then bring in the statistics as to what is it that the size of the market is, how much market share has already gone, and where is it that you feel you can see from this point? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I have few examples, and that company is basically a Pune-based company called Fitter. I don't know if people are aware about Fitter company. Yeah. So they face the same problem in terms of the competition. So because there were no competition that time in India, it was very difficult for them to convey the validation of the entire business, because it was completely community driven. And there were very few businesses in India which was completely community driven, except from Amway or maybe other businesses. So it was very tough time to convey a lot of VC investor in terms of understanding how to validate their business. So it is very important to bring down the list of the competitors. If you don't find Indian competitors, maybe you can just take a replica of the global business, or maybe some part of their business divisions, or some sort of existing customer which basically replicates your business model. So it is very important to portray all the points, how all these competitions are working out, what are their numbers, how much is their user base, all their KPI tractions, including their margins of each and every revenue segment is very important. And how you can expand your margins better is something which you need to portray to the investors.
As regards competition, see, this is a normal formula where we try to address the total market, then what is the share other competitors have taken, and what share we are going to take, and all. These are all normal formulas which we try to really analyze that. But what is more important is that any startup that is coming to us, we appreciate their thought process, we appreciate their vision and all, but there is definitely some USP in that startup, who has designed that product. So we try to understand that startup in a more deeper way, what is the differentiator vis-a-vis other competitors, So we give time to that, we have 2-3 rounds of sitting, we try to analyze that, and then we do our little bit of homework, कि हाँ ऐसा कोई startup है, ये field में है. जैसे there was one startup that came to us, and we found that this model is similar to Bracto or similar to 1mg or something like that. So we didn't really appreciate that. But when he described his product in such a way that I have captured so much market, so many doctors are there on my panel and on, but the differentiator was totally different, and when we really understood that, then we said there's a huge potential. If this needs to be really being motivated for its product, for its thoughts and all, we invested in that company, and then we got a lot of other investors in, and this company is really doing well, and it's definitely different from Practo and 1mg and all. So that I will later on, as it grows, we'll disclose the name. but it's a different model. And then we realized that if we would have compared that with Tracto, we would have never invested in this company. So we believe that every startup has some USP. The founder has to bring that USP to us, and we do a little bit of more homework on that.
Was that mentioned on their pitch, or did they have to talk you through it?
No, we were trying to see that they were trying to analyze that with the Tracto sort of a model. और हम लोग ऐसे सोचा कि बनिया बुद्धि है और Tracto जैसे ही है company.
Actually, it's just human nature to slot and categorize. But I've noticed a lot of times the differentiator, the competitive analysis is done, but the differentiator detail is just not specified in enough detail, which then leaves the investor or the reader with doubts, and then they may have a time crunch and not have the time to reach out and speak to you in person on the phone, because as you said, you get bombarded with about 1,000 a month. So if it's not on that slide, then no one's going to take the time to pick up the phone and clarify. So the differentiators have to be there. And sometimes I feel like some founders conveniently leave out certain competition because they're maybe trying to be super segmented and trying to put themselves out as being very niche. But at the end of the day, if you belong to a category, you do. You can't invent a category overnight. The clearer the picture you put forward, the easier it is for the investor to identify where you actually sit on that map.
This is one thing which I just want to add. Copy pasting is obviously a good form of flattery, but not in a pitch deck or in your startup. And I'll give you a real example which we have seen lately with a client of ours. They came with a nice proposition. Our team did some research and we realized that the screenshots of the app were exactly the same of another startup based in Spain. The logo was similar, the name was similar only with a hyphen. The colors of the Spanish company was purple, there, over here it was crimson if I was to use the correct word. And yeah, I don't think that is the best way to go about it, because somewhere or the other down the line you will be caught. And as sir rightly mentioned, even we do get a couple of clients which look exactly like a 1mg or a Practo. And you have to do a kind of a read between the lines to see if there's a difference or if it's just a blind copy paste. So a request, please don't do any blind copy paste, because that will not let you go anywhere further in life.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we have 12 minutes left. So are there many guys who want to ask a question? Because I have a question to the panel which is going to take 25 minutes. So is there, are there anybody who has, how many guys want to ask a question? Can I just see one? That's it? 1, 2, 3. So either we have been very good or very bad. Huh? I would like to believe we are very good. So 5, right? So I'll still ask this question because probably this is one of the questions which you want to ask. So this is a very quick question and I need very quick answers on this. What should be the first dilution percent? You know, a lot of founders struggle. Ki kitna do main? 5% do, 10% do, 20% do, 50% do. Whatever may be the amount. It could be 50 lakhs, it could be 5 crores. My question to this panel is, okay, he says 10%. Any other thoughts on this? 30%. So he says 30. Any other inputs? Alisha, do you have a thought on it? Mitesh?
See, it again depends upon the product, right? So, product, what kind of technology scale they, scale they can have. But from a founder perspective, if he's diluting anything, at 8%, that's a win for him. And obviously, standard investors, will try to look at a dilution of 15% and 30%. I guess there is a quite of a hand-holding, role will be required to acquire a 30% kind of a stake. So yeah.
So okay, so we have a situation where 2 of them say 10% and the most experienced one says 30%. So let's have a little discussion. You need to justify why 10 and you need to justify why 30. And we are talking from founders' point of view, not investors' point of view. We are giving advice to the founders that what should they target realistically as a dilution. So you need to, who's going to justify 10%?
So I would agree with Mitesh. See, it's your baby. Don't give a majority in the first round or the first two rounds itself. You don't know what the valuation can be. You're stopping yourself from getting a good figure at some point of time. Second thing, if you give a majority, and I'm not talking about anything in excess of, let's say, 50.1 or something, you'll end up becoming a nice employee and not a promoter or founder. And yes, big companies, the promoters have less than 10% these days. But yes, then they have made their money, they have kind of, arrived in life, so-called. But over here, you are still a startup. As regards dilution is concerned, I would agree that yes, 10 is ideal, 30 is a good one. But then you have to be comfortable as to what is the product and the service which you're selling. More importantly, what is it in return are you getting? Are you also getting some kind of strategy? Are you going to get some help in business development? Are you going to get some help in moving forward and making your startup from what it is today to a unicorn? If yes, then go for a higher dilution. If not, if it's plain simple money, 8 to 12%.
So the Prashant has made his pitch. We need to give Parimal his due also. And Parimal, the last question, because we are running out of time. How do you defend 30% from founder's point of view?
See, when a founder comes to us, we put on platter so many other things, our own experience in terms of accounts. Since we are chartered accountant, we are practicing chartered accountants, so the founder वैसे ही पिघल जाता है कि ये सब services मेरे को यहीं पे मिल जाता है. So we try to see that when it's on real sense, why we take look at from founder's perspective. 30% is the founder himself would like to see that everything is planned. The mentorship which we require is available all in-house. The audit, the taxation, the GST part of it, all things are available in-house. So founder will see all this givings, and definitely he will prefer to dilute more.
Okay.
Yeah, just an offshoot of this point is that please read your term sheets.
Yeah.
Don't just look at the green and sign blindly. We've had tons of founders sign and then come back and then they want to deviate, and then the transaction documents cannot deviate from your term sheet beyond a point. So what is the exit you're offering? What are the investor consent items? How much of involvement do you want from the investor sitting on your head, and how much of that control do you want to give away? Just read your term sheets. Sometimes the investor will present their term sheets to you from their lawyers, but you still have an opportunity to review it, redline it, and send it back. Don't think you don't have the opportunity to do it. Get your lawyers or get your investors to help you, put you across to someone, get it vetted so you know what you're signing.
Just adding on, we also provide secretarial services.
Okay, so we're going to take 3 questions, and you can choose to ask a specific panelist if you believe that person, or you can throw it to the panel and whoever feels justified. Who's taking the first one? Yes, right in front of me.
Yeah, hi. Lovely to hear you.
If you can get up so that others can also.
Can I say loud?
Yeah. Just get up so that others
Oh,
can.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks. Look, such a condensed, power-packed thoughts. I hope everyone finds a value in that, but it's definitely me. It's amazing to hear in the last 1 hour. Question for Prashant. You mentioned about the valuation and profitability, right? Initially when you opened. So actually the question is, how do you measure that? I mean, it's a good comment. I loved it, but is it how sooner you should get profitable? And there are still companies who are not profitable. I don't even know Facebook or these things, right? So when you have a vision as a founder, and it can dilute your entire process, right? Where you want to take your product, your strategies, it can completely make or break you, whether it's acquisition, subscribers, So I would like you to go a little bit under the hood with that comment.
Sure. Thank you for having caught me on that. I'll just say one thing, that you should focus as a startup entrepreneur on expansion of your business. You should focus on higher rate of customer acquisition, higher retention of your customers. Profitability will follow. If you have a strong foundation of various revenue streams, and don't just have one revenue stream, have various revenue streams. You've given an example of a social media company There are several revenue streams. Now, some of them may be ethical, may not be that ethical which we are seeing now, but they do have. So have various revenue streams, look at customer retention, profit will fall in as long as you are burning less cash. And please remember one thing, and this is again a mistake which startups make. They burn cash a lot because they feel it's not their money but the investor's money. Kya jata hai? Let's spend it out. Don't. Okay, there are startups who have done lavish spending. I will not take names, but we are all aware of some startups which have got some bad news in the last few months where some kind of doubtful integrity questions were raised on some startup founders. Don't indulge in those things. Focus on it, trust me. Even in the worst case, you can become profitable in 3 to 4 years. Your EBITDA will be positive, and as long as I said, the revenue continues to come in. And valuation is all based on a combination of revenue and your EBITDA and your cash flows. You have these things in place, valuation will fall in. Don't target valuation first and then work backwards on your revenue or EBITDA channel.
Right. So Prashant is saying the valuation will determine your roadmap to profitability. Is that?
No, I didn't say the valuation will determine your roadmap to profitability. All I'm saying is, see, people focus valuation first and then they put the EBITDA and the revenue backwards. I'm saying first focus on revenue, then focus on EBITDA, then the valuation falls in place.
Thanks, Prashant. Anyone else? Now on the left. Yes, please. Yes.
Sir,
You can ask in any language you are comfortable with.
sir, in this competitive market, sir, we start a new startup. Then how you can stay in this market for a long time? The main problem is this. For just example, we take as a mobile phone or just a motor vehicle.
Okay, this is not actually related to investing, but if some panelists would like to answer. Yeah.
I think the question is not about the competition, right? The question is about the product and what sort of margins you can make from that product, right? So you just have to compare with the market leaders in that particular sector. What are their secret sauce of operating, or maybe the supply chain, or is it the customer acquisition cost, or what are the cost to sales and other parameters. So it is very important for you to understand, even though if you start the business, maybe somebody else is doing it, it's fine. But you need to, you try to understand or try to make a roadmap where you can have that, expansion plan story, or margin of expansion. Whether you have identified certain geographies, or you think that maybe I'm not for tier 1 markets, but particularly for tier 3 markets, and that is where you are solving a lot of problems. So those are the area maybe you can try to focus on.
Though I'm a moderator, but I'll give you some gyan. I've used this because I've been a salesman all my life. Every quarter, ask yourself 3 questions from customer's point of view. Why this? Why now? Why me? Means why should the customer buy what you're trying to sell? Why should he buy it now? And why from you? Ask yourself this question from customer's point of view. Whatever the answers you get, implement them. You'll remain competitive. Okay, third one. Anybody from this side? No, you're done. Only right. Yes, please. Any specific panelist or general?
Yeah, so I'll just brief. So I'm a co-founder of PCSIC India. So the category that we are working is in auto component industry. In this packaging category, we are getting into customized packaging. We have good traction, so I don't want to be like a unicorn or something. So we are registered to startup, we have got DIP certified, but again, I don't want to get into this bubble of all these things. So we call ourselves MSME. We are self-funded. We are getting support from banks. So right now the challenge is coming, that tractions are happening, businesses are coming, like clients being like OEM, tier 1, so they are big businesses. Traction is good. As you said, so profitability doesn't matter, it will come on. But now we are somewhere at a dilemma. Do we really need an investor? Or shall we still go with the bank? So now bank chooses us with the tractions, with the balance sheets, but again the interest rates are very high. So we are in this dilemma right now moving in. So do we, so like my co-founder and me says no investors, because I don't know what are they going to bring on platter. Because investors will talk on only finances, figures, but what else do we need in our business? So we are just in that dilemma. So
very good question. Who would like to answer this? Yeah, please.
So it's a very good question. This dilemma comes in, and I'm glad it has come in. because you're not blindly going in for an investment route. Okay. All I'll say is what got you here may not get you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Read the question. Okay. The question is, what is a good time, in short, to get external investments or external investors into the company? That's a very short synopsis of the question. So my answer to you would be that first, it's good that you're questioning it because many people blindly go for it. My take is what got you over here may not get you where you expect or want to go without someone else's external support or money. So you need to make your own roadmap. What is it that you've achieved? What's your journey been so far? With what kind of money? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? What is it that will take you to achieve that? Can you do that through self-accruals of your business? Great. But even if you can do that, you may require some good strategic investors and not just financial investors. So that is where the thinking and the thought process should be. Where do I want to go in the next 3 to 5 years? Many people remain stagnant. They don't want to grow, they are very happy, they're getting good money, their EMIs are being paid, bills are being paid, they're happy. But yes, if you have the zeal to grow, you will require some kind of strategic help or financial help, and that's where your strategic roadmap will help you.
Yeah, so very nice answer, and I can also add a bit here. While most founders are, accused of being over-ambitious in terms of stating their numbers, you look at 100 founders trying to make a pitch and 90 of them are trying to tell they can do 20 times more than what they actually can. But there are 10% who are happy with satisfactory underperformance also. So probably you need to question yourselves that when you make a statement, I don't want to become a unicorn. Now where is that coming from? Why wouldn't you like to become a unicorn? It's not just about making money. If the market is there, you should go for it as a founder, because you can't run in place. You can't run in place. You have to either run ahead or you fall back. In startup world, you can't run in place. So let's not have a discussion now, we can take it outside. But ask yourselves that, are you really looking at the potential out there? And like Prashant said, if all of you look at the potential out there, you may realize the need for funding far more than you do today. Look at that. So I think it's 1:30 now, and the guys here have started making sound. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Founder's dilemma is pretty real, and it leaves you feeling like, do I know enough? Am I good enough? Am I taking the right steps? It's a good idea to have an advisory board that you as a founder, that is external to your company, that as a founder you can use as a soundboard every quarter or every, say, 6 months or once a year to bounce off these strategic questions and have these discussions on, because funding and this whole world of VC and startup funding is highly glamorized, but you should not take dilution lightly. Not to say that you should close doors on external funding or an investor because you want to be self-funded and go to the banks, but it's highly glamorized and it comes with parting with a piece of the cake. So I think an advisory board for a startup at any stage in their journey is highly advisable, and it also builds confidence in your investors as well, that you are consulting with experienced advisors.
Sure. I think Alisha used a very correct word, glamorous. It looks, sounds glamorous. Reality is different. And you should be prepared for that reality.
So thank you everybody. It was, I believe, a good discussion. Thank you for your time. I'd like to thank PCSIC, and I would like to thank Bhavesh for facilitating this. And we are available offline. If you have any doubts, any questions, we'll be there. Thank you so much.
So please stay back. I believe you mentioned about 3 whys, and there is a 4th why which is going on in their head. They must be wondering why this session, the beautiful session, is concluding here, because it was so lively and interactive basically, but then we have to take a pause over here, and then I would like to thank our moderator, Mr. Anirudh Modak sir, for conducting this session so nicely. So we would like to felicitate you, sir. I invite Uday sir on the stage. Along with that, we are going to felicitate all our other experts who have given a very nice feedback on your queries. So of course they are available offline. So whatever you have queries, you can get back to them and ask them personally. So Uday sir, please join us, and Mr. Anirudh Modak sir. Let's give him big hand. Come on. Thank you so very much, Mr. Parimal Sheth, Director, Canis Ventures Private Limited. And renowned person in this industry, Mr. Prashant Gupta, CEO and Managing Partner, Keras 3 Advisors. Thank you so much. The most influential lady here, Miss Alisha Punawala. She is partner in Lobbycon. Thank you so much. Mr. Mitesh Nanlaskar, VP, Hem Angels, receiving his honor. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
Just want to announce 3 more. I think they were not there. I want to felicitate Mr. Mandar Joshi. He was not there. So he's now he's there. He's our mentor, PCSIC. For PCSIC. And one more, Mr. Kiran Nawate. He's also a mentor. He's a supportive person for our startup.
Yes, we end with our panel discussion, and there are so many things in a row which is going to happen, and so many interesting sessions to go further. With this, I am going to invite on stage Mr. Mohan Jadavji to share his startup idea. I want to mention here, there are many things which is going to happen. We are going to talk more on the women entrepreneurship, startups. Then there is going to be a workshop on the innovations, and with this, there is also going to be a pitch presentation workshop which is going to happen parallelly. So we have with us Mohan Jadavji. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know I'm standing between you and your lunch, so I will not take much time. So I'm Mohan Jadhav, founder, CISO and DPO at SAP InfoSec Private Limited. You can meet us outside. We are exhibiting here. So I would like you to raise your hand if you know something about cybersecurity. There is no one in the room who doesn't know about cybersecurity. I'm sure everyone uses mobile. You know mobile security is important, right? You hear a lot of news about money getting lost from somebody's bank account, right? Somebody's account had password changed. A lot of things happen to you, right? So you know something about cyber security, right? So anybody in this hall doesn't have any kind of policy, like insurance policy, health policy. I assume everyone has those policies, right? So cyber security, why I'm bringing that question is that we take care of ourselves a lot. However, we do not take care of the IT systems that we do our daily activities on, whether it is our personal business or your enterprise, right? You do most of the things using IT. You learn using your laptop or desktop, right? Every day think of a day without mobile. You can't do anything without mobile, right? And that's where the security comes in place, right? So cyber security is a problem of all nations across the globe. Imagine if civil services like electricity, right, water supply, road transport, aviation, all that getting halted by cyber attack. And there are lot of news every day happening, there are cyber attacks happening, lot of public services are getting interrupted, and that directly affects the common man like us, right? And that's where the importance of cyber security lies. So if you want to know more about cyber security, talk to us outside. We are exhibiting there in the hall. So thank you for your time.
Yes, moving ahead to talk more about women entrepreneurship, we have with us Mr. Bhavesh Kothare ji, co-founder and director, Millennium Divas Private Limited, and co-author of Eves Against the Odds. Bhavesh ji, please join us on the stage. Only 5 minutes are gonna speak. I request, let us respect our speaker. They are very senior. Let's give the respect and take respect back. 5 minutes. We are not going to talk more on this, and this is the very fruitful information for all of you. For 10 plus years, he is published author of two books on 25 inspiring women entrepreneur stories titled Eves Against the Odds, जो आपने अभी बाहर देखी हुई है. ये Amazon, Flipkart और अभी भी आपको मिल जाएगी. It is a bestseller, and going ahead, he is going to talk more about women entrepreneurship by his firm. He's representing his firm, Millennium Divas. So over to you. Yes, and you're the only one who's gonna gain back that energy. Yes, most lively session. Here we start, sir.
Thank you, Nana. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know the energy is outside, and I'm standing in between that energy and you. So I'm not going to take much time of yours because we anyways, are into the event industry. So event management is one area that I come from, and time management is something that we have to adhere to, right? But having said that, the reason why I thought it would be good to present it here at this esteemed forum is because I see almost like 40-45% of women entrepreneurs here. One of my dear friends tells me that, don't categorize us in women entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship, right? So I'm not going to quote her, but she's right. It's all about entrepreneurship. But the reason why we talk about women entrepreneurship is because it's an opportunity for us to support those women in the society. I firmly believe that women do not need empowerment. How many of you believe women need empowerment? See, that's exactly my point. We all need support, right? As an entrepreneur, as an individual, we all need support, right? So that is what we at Millennium Divas took on as a mantle and a journey to nurture and encourage more women in entrepreneurship and investments. And 5 years ago, me and my co-founder wife launched Millennium Divas during the Road to Global Entrepreneurship Summit, which happened in Bombay, where Ivanka Trump had come in Hyderabad as well, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly give you a very, very small snapshot of how the scenario and the landscape of women in entrepreneurship is, right? So welcome. My name is Bhavesh Kothare. I'm the co-founder and director of Millennium Divas. We are a global platform for women entrepreneurs, and we recently also launched an angel network to nurture and support women startups, which are at an early stage as well, right? And we again are ourselves as a startup, so we are still, having those small baby steps, because it is a very dynamic and a very difficult space. And the reason why we were formed is because of the experience that we had, where I used to mentor a lot of startups, and a few of them were women entrepreneurs, and I saw a huge rise of women coming forward into entrepreneurship as well, right? So that's where the idea of Millennium Divas was seeded by us as well. So that's me. I'll start with a very small quote, and that is something that we at Millennium Divas also are following as well, right? So it says, our greatest weaknesses lies in giving up. Most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. This is by a very, 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 very known scientist, Thomas Edison. I'm sure everyone knows, right? We can see the light here because of him, right? He kept trying, right? Absolutely. So that's what entrepreneurship is about. We keep trying. right? So I always say that before you give up, give all in. One more time, right? And it's a journey that we traverse into. Next. So this is a small definition. I thought it's relevant because I believe as entrepreneurs we need to keep ourselves reminded of our path and our journey. As an entrepreneur, this is what we should keep in mind in terms of spaces like the kind of effort that we put. What are the financial goals that we want to achieve through our entrepreneurship? Rewards that we want to get, the risks that we are going to take in entrepreneurship journey. Next. Again, be different, right? We have to be different from others. That's what helps us stand out from our competition. That's what we want to do as an entrepreneur, as a startup as well. Build value. I think one of the most important part in entrepreneurship is build value. Value for your customers, value for your partners, value for your stakeholders. So this word value should be ingrained into our minds as entrepreneurs. Valuation बाद में आ जाएगा, पहले value तो create करते हैं, right? So build value for your enterprise, build value for your customers and partners. These are the prerequisite. You have to be crazy, right? So for example, I live, sleep, eat, breathe Millennium Divas. I'm crazy about it. I'm passionate about it. We came out with 2 books where we featured 50 women entrepreneurs by not even taking a single penny from them. Because I'm very passionate about this. I've been driving this crazily, right? Innovation, very important, right? You need to keep innovating. Otherwise you become obsolete, right? So classic example is, there are a lot of people that, now use WhatsApp, right? A lot of us, old school, normally prefer on emails. But WhatsApp is the new engagement, right? It's become more of formal communication than informal as well, right? AI, ML, big data, blockchain, these are the new technologies. So you need to be able to keep yourself abreast, right? Risk-taking capacity. I think life is full of risk. So is entrepreneurship. Do you have that capacity in taking risk? Ownership of risk and reward. मतलब अच्छा किया तो मैंने किया, बुरा किया तो उसने किया. That doesn't work, right? So you can't tell your customer that, look, it is not my fault that I have not been able to deliver value to you. You have to take the ownership of risk and rewards. Create a difference. I think we as individuals, I call something as ISR, individual social responsibility to give back to the society, right? So that is something as an individual, how do I create difference? So when we started Millennium Divas, the first purpose and mission was to create a difference in the society by supporting women to look at becoming entrepreneurs. Fulfill dreams, earn money ethically, पैसा किसी को नहीं चाहिए, right? Achieve success in life. Success is relative. More the success, more the relatives is what I call. Make a name for self. Very important. Help the society at large. Right? So these are some of the prerequisites I think as an entrepreneur we should keep in mind. This is one of the most favorite slides by Simon Sinek that I always love, right? The purpose, the what, why and how. Right? So start with why. So you need to know as an entrepreneur, why are you becoming an entrepreneur? Why are you starting this journey? Why will your customers buy? Why not others? Right? So start with why. Ask these questions to yourself as well as we move forward. Next. Reason customers buy your product and services. How will the customer get return on investments? What else will they gain? These are the questions that you need to ask him. It's not that एक बार पूछ लिया उसके बाद we start the journey. At every stage of your journey, entrepreneurial journey, you need to keep asking these questions. That is how you will be able to innovate. That is how you will be able to know whether what is your customer looking for, what are your clients looking for, what are your partners looking for. Right? You need to be a great listener as an entrepreneur. That is how you will come to know what your consumers are talking about, what your competitors are talking about. Right? So this is a definition that I have picked up from the government of India's website as well. Right? They may be defined as a woman or a group of women who initiate, organize, and run a business. I'm sure everyone knows. Right? Government of India says a woman entrepreneur is defined as an entrepreneur owned, controlled by a woman having 51% stake. Okay, so that's it is. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि 95% मेरे पास है as a man and 5% हमने दे दिया है women को because you need 2 directors on the board as a compliance part, right? So that's not called women entrepreneurship. You need to have a majority stake as a woman entrepreneur. Next. Some of the common features, right? I'll just glance through it. I'm sure is everyone able to read this? Wonderful. So I'll not waste much time on that. But anyways, most women with small income are likely to become entrepreneurs. Classic example is the pandemic, right? Everyone, was locked into the 4 walls, but business kept moving. A lot of women started, utilizing their skills, culinary skills, creative skills, and they started using technology, which is the digital media, and started building their enterprises. So, though they could not go out, but I think, I am sure more women became entrepreneurs in this last 2 years than it could have ever happened. So, large number of women with little or no education and training center into business fields. Women's sincerity and hard work. I think this is something that I firmly believe as a man as well, right? Not just because I run a platform for women entrepreneurs. I think, ask a man if he can, take care of the kid, cook the morning breakfast, put the kids at the school, go to office, work, come back home. I'm sure, right? You could relate with that. I'm sure your husbands should be listening here right now. So same thing. It is difficult. They are multitasking. Let's be honest, right? The reason why I don't believe in women empowerment is because they are given the power to be creators. So you can't empower women there who are already empowered. People talk about rural empowerment, which is some of the qualities, as I was talking about, right? Accept challenges, they are ambitious, hardworking, patience. मतलब छोटे बच्चे और बड़े बच्चे को संभालना किसी के बस की बात नहीं है. Motivator, empathy, conscious, intelligence, right? These are some of the traits. Next. Some of the challenges, okay? I've picked up 5 challenges. The first one is access to capital. It says 58% of the women in non-metros and 31% in metro cities feel raising capital is a difficult part of the journey, okay? And this is, by the way, data from Top Business Thoughts, data from there as well. Next. Second, lack of infrastructure. 73% of women in non-metro cities and 22% in metro cities feel non-availability of infrastructure as another challenge. Lack of mentorship. This is one of my favorite subjects. I run a podcast by the name of Startup Shastra, where I have dedicated almost 20 episodes to only mentorship. Okay? And all aspects. Why you should get a mentor in the first place. Right? Same thing. Why do you want to go out and pick up investments from the external parties as well? How do you select a mentor? So this is something that is also very, very important. Lack of mentorship. 51% of women in India feel that. Lack of talent. Another bigger challenge as well. Access to technology. Again, especially in rural spaces. Opportunities. So now let's look at the opportunities that the ecosystem is providing. Positive influence on the society. It is said that if you teach a man or if you train a man, he can just look at himself or maybe 1 or 2. But if you train a woman, she will bring in at least 4 more people. Okay? And it's a fact, it's a research-based data as well. Social reforms, women entrepreneurship, right? She is known as the mother. Remember? The first woman who reformed, the India, who reformed, created a school, created a well for Dalits to, come and untouchables. Sorry to use this word, but yes, that is what she transformed, right? She was one of the first lady to bring in those social reforms. That's the power of women. Culture and family values. I think women play a major role in bringing those cultural and family values into society as well. They can become a positive contributor, right? So for example, I remember my mother, when my father used to, bring in the salary and he used to give it to my mom for those ghar ke kharche, right? I've always seen that she could be able to save 20 to 30% of that particular money. Great money manager, I think. Amazing talent women have. Last but not the least is economy and growth that they can bring to the society at large and to the country, right? Improving the overall growth of the nation as well. Next. Some of the schemes, okay? So if you see Mahila Udyam Nidhi, Mahila Vikas Nidhi, which help women entrepreneurs by the government. We have Ashriya Mahila Kosh, we have Arvind scheme, we have development of women child in rural area, which was launched in 1980 to support women income generation activities in the lower income groups as well. These are some of the schemes. Next. Government of Tamil Nadu has established the Tamil Nadu Corporation for Development of Women Limited. Right? So state governments are doing some amazing work. Trade-related entrepreneurship scheme. Then we have Micro Small Enterprise Cluster Development Program, CDP program, by the Ministry of MSME as well. Credit Guarantee Fund scheme for micro, small and medium enterprises. I'm sure we all would have experienced Mudra, right? Classic example. Next. Support for Entrepreneurship Management Development, MSME DI, which does EDP programs, management development programs to train potential entrepreneurs, and they have a dedicated wing for women entrepreneurship. So we closely associate with the Ministry of MSME, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises in this area. The government e-marketplace. I think one of the beautiful things that has happened is that e-marketplace has a very dedicated initiative called Womania, which is being launched to support women entrepreneurs and self-help groups to sell directly as well. Right? One of the beautiful initiatives I think eGEM is, and its registration is very simple, very easy. Even if you approach their department, they will guide you as well. Incubators. We are standing right at one of the most amazing incubators by the government and the private sector as well. Right? So this is something which is very amazing. They play a very important part in this journey as well. Next. Some of the roles that incubators play: provide a free space, provide mentors, provide a platform like this to help you encourage, learn, engage and interact with thought leaders from the industry. Next. This is some of the stats again. So before I end, I thought let me leave you with a small thought. It says our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always try. Just one more time, as I mentioned to you, right? Next. This is about us. Okay, I won't dwell much, but as I mentioned, we are a platform to nurture and encourage women entrepreneurs. Some of the areas that we look at supporting is blockchain, edutech, health tech, infratech, fintech, impact enterprises as well. This is something very interesting that we are going to be launching soon. We are creating an application, with a more dynamic features where you could utilize this as a community development platform. You could utilize this as a promotion product launch platform. So if you have a product, come out, launch your product. There are video features. You could create small videos and keep engaging the way you do on Facebook, right? For example, I'm sure you would have seen, you go on live and promote your product and services. This is one of the initiatives that we are doing. You can engage with mentors. You can select hours of mentoring. You can engage there, go there, engage with a mentor, book your appointment and engage with a mentor. We are also creating a more dynamic approach to investments as well. So we have something where we are using technology and AI tool where you will be able to put your pitch deck online, investors will look at it and they can engage directly with you as well. So it's something that we are working around that as well. So this is going to be launched in the month of early May 2023. The beta version is already there on iOS and Android as well. Next. These are some of the collaborations that we closely work with. Right? So for example, we have PSC, we have SSIP iHub, we have Pune University, we have Prabhudas Liladhar, who is one of our partners, AIC Imtech. We are also collaborating with SNDT Women's University. We have recently done an MOU with them as well. Mentor on the board, Cambridge Inchworth Startup Incubation Center, Fluid Ventures, SME World. This is some of the collaborative partners and many more. This is what the journey that we have traversed, right? There are 2 books that we have launched. They are available outside. Encourage you to probably please, grab a copy of that. It's available on Amazon and other platforms, also on e-version as well. 2 volumes. We are looking at another 8 volumes coming in. We are soon launching the volume 3, which is a global edition in Middle East, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, and the Asia Pacific region as well. So with that, as I always believe, build value and the valuation will follow. With that, thank you so much for patiently listening to me. Really, really honored. Thank you so much, PCSIC, for bringing us together and sharing this dais with us.
Thank you so much for guiding us, Bhavishji. I'm going to invite Mandar Joshi ji on the stage, please. Mandar Joshi, by any chance, is here around? Okay, so here, good news for all of you. We are breaking away for the lunch break and we will be back after half an hour. Alright, so thank you so much for your patience. Our second session in a while. I request everyone to kindly quickly join. Request everyone to kindly assemble here for the next session. We are going to discuss some success stories of the startups, and I'm going to call out certain names and they have to be ready with their presentation. Mr. Bhushan Muthia, Mr. Akshay Bhamre, Mr. Narendra Navle and Shishmita. Okay, I request everyone to kindly be seated. We are starting with our session. So welcome back to PCSIC second session of this day. You all know we are celebrating 3rd year. This is a foundation day and we are discussing so many interesting topics since morning. I'm your host Nayan Jayaprakash and this is really going to be a very, very exciting session. Why? Because we all are here gathered to listen to all the stories, their struggle stories for finding out the startups and then how successfully they are conducting it. So, to begin with, silence please, silence, silence, silence. Alright, so to begin with, to open this session, I'm going to invite on stage Mr. Bhushan Muthia. Can we have Bhushan on the stage please? Yes, with big hands we are welcoming you Bhushan here and the firm name is Automation AI. Alright, so all the best, how excited you are to tell your stories. कभी सोचा था startup में निकाल के एक दिन वो आएगा, I will stand on this particular dais and then, inspire many minds over here. कभी सोचा था आपने, Bhushan जी?
Last year I was on the same seat which sitting today.
So 1 साल का फासला और आज आप यहाँ पे हो. Wow, that's nice. So जोरदार तालियां कमाओ. So 1 साल पहले इन्होंने एक स्टार्टअप का सपना देखा था और 1 साल में प्रोग्रेस करके now he is here. He is an achiever in himself. So we want to hear so many things from you, Bhushan. So over to you.
So just to correct, startup को 3 साल हुआ है अभी. I actually recently moved back from US, and last year I was here and talking with Uday Dev sir about what are the things and how PCSIC we can like collaborate with PCSIC and take this forward. But I'm happy to say that today it's been a very wonderful journey with PCSIC. Where we got a lot of guidance, specifically, like especially from Uday Dev sir, and also a lot of support in terms of with the other counterparts as well from MCCI and the other auto cluster support as well. So I'll just begin with a few things in order to start the journey of Automaton AI. So we started Automaton AI in the year 2019, February 2019. So initially we started this as a service-based industry. We started this providing AI services to a lot of other corporates in USA. So while the initial journey and before COVID, we were actually very much revenue positive in terms of getting the business and developing the ecosystem around AI. So deep learning and machine learning was our core area of focus. And then COVID hit to everyone, and everyone had to stay at their premises for more than like almost 6 to 8 months of time frame. So during that time, we started with talking with multiple people in order to what is the problem statement in terms of artificial intelligence they are facing today, and why it is not being adopted to a level where it has to be. Now you can see, you can talk about like AI, everyone talks about AI, but in 2019 it was just the beginning of all these things. So that's when we got a problem statement of like the platform that is needed in order to speed up the operations in AI. Because if you look at AI cost that every startup is actually investing today, there are 3 major things that are needed for every startup. One is the infrastructure, second one is the proper talent, and third one is the problem statement that needs to be solved, the data. So that is these are the 3 major problem statements that we found out when, like, for every startup out there or every company out there, not even startup, enterprise as well. So you might be learning more about like how Google, Amazons of the world are collecting their own data, generating their own data today through their websites or through Google searches or any other things, right? And you might be getting a lot of ads and everything. So this is all the year-long efforts, whatever they have done in order for your data to get into the ecosystem, train the models, develop those algorithms, and then deploy it in real-life production. And that's how you see Google ads, that's how you see Facebook ads and Instagram ads and everything, right? So that's just one part of what AI is. But like there are a lot of different things that where AI is being used today. That's the market segment that we thought that might be a good market segment for Automaton, and that's where we started developing our own product since January 2020. For like the product name is Advent Studio, and we started in terms of like initially as a data labeling platform, then eventually moved on to understanding that model training is also needed. In terms like speaking with multiple corporates, we understood that there are multiple different people involved in this same journey, because the data labeling is happening at one corner of the world, data model development is happening on the other corner of the world. So all those things we wanted to actually centralize for the data scientists so that they can come up with their own new algorithms. Now think about this, we are not talking about the algorithmic centric approach, we are talking about data centric approach for this AI model development. And that is what was the vision of Automaton. So that's why we have our tagline called democratizing data, because that is something what we wanted to generate more and more algorithms. Every data scientist out there has this particular statement saying that how will I label my data, how will I generate the actual training data that is needed so that I can develop my algorithms faster. So if like few of you must be from the AI background or even tech background, you must have heard the name Andrew Ng. Andrew Ng is called the father of AI today. So he's now like his all courses and everything When he started in 2013-14, when the GPU technology was much more developed, and was like Nvidia was trying to develop their hardware infrastructure as. So at that time everyone was talking about algorithmic centric approach. Now today everyone is talking about data centric approach, because every data that you are working on today is very valuable for your algorithms, because every data will give you new set of knowledge, and you can derive new set of algorithms based on the same data itself. So now think about, like, I have like 50,000 images wherein I wanted to identify cats, dogs into the images, or even things. I'm just giving you some random example. So this whole ecosystem is something what we started, and that's where we are today in terms of developing this platform that we will be giving it to the data scientist, and that's where we started with the providing this platform to the data scientist at a much cost-effective way. Then we understood there is another problem statement. The problem statement is basically the talent of manpower, the manpower that is actually working into AI. And then we thought that this manpower is actually coming from universities today. So we actually deviated a platform a little bit so that we can provide this to the universities as well. Now the thing is, while actually a small background about myself as well, while I was doing my masters in US, I had two very important things in my life over there, wherein I was working with 16 AI projects at a time. And that was only possible because of the guidance which I got, the infrastructure which I got. So now think about the same thing. If a person, if a student like me is going in US and accomplishing 16 projects at a time in one single semester, so can't that same student do the same things in India if he gets that infrastructure and guidance? And with that, with that vision, we started Advit AI Labs for the universities. So these two activities are running parallelly right now. For universities, we are talking with, from the student perspective, how they can improvise their own understanding about AI on a real world data. See, there are a lot of open source data available, but what happens in open source data is, the data is much more cleaner than you think. And that's why you can't learn the algorithms that you want to, because that data is not meant for learning. Because that data is just meant for solving the problem statement or algorithm development. But in real world scenarios, I'll just give you a simple example, okay? So, and in fact, I am working with a lot of PCSIC startups over here as well. One of the startup is CerebroSpark, who was actually last year a startup success story was from CerebroSpark, and that was kind of my inspiration because I was sitting on the same chair over there. And then I thought we should have more of a collaborative approach. And because we are in this platform business, this platform actually will help a lot of other startups to develop their own AI algorithms, and that's where CerebroSpark, and now we have started recently working with SmartBees as well over here. Again, a PCSIC startup. So they are very good at IoT and other sensors for the manufacturing industry. So we are giving them the predictive analytics and ML modeling. Again, from the platform perspective, because we had that experience, we had that vision in terms of like how the data can be utilized. So that is something the real world problem statements which startups are solving, and this real world problem statements student needs to understand so that they can develop their own startups in the near future for the particular industry. And that is what the vision of Advit AI Labs is, and that's why we collaborated with one more governmental organization. Everyone might be aware about it. It's Maharashtra Information Technology Support Center. So it's a startup initiative that has been started where they are actually giving a lot of incubation support and other things that are needed for the students so that they can enhance in their career for extra credits. So that is something, that extra credits is not just credits, but it's basically very important for the student life, because that's where entrepreneurs comes with, right? Because that is something what you have out of the box in your hand, and then you create something new in terms of like taking it to the market or solving the problem statement, like the market that is being people are looking forward to. So overall, if you ask from the startup perspective, overall if you ask from the journey of automaton AI, we have been seeing a lot of differences. We have been seeing like huge cash flow coming in. We have been seeing like the COVID hitting us. We have been seeing the fundraising opportunities as well, and now we are also looking forward to expand with our product portfolio with different companies and corporates. And we ourselves are working with other startups so that those startups can be AI enabled. Because everyone wants to get into this, but they need some kind of guidance, they need some kind of expertise or domain understanding in terms of AI, machine learning and deep learning, and that is something what as an automaton we have taken into consideration, and that is something what we are providing. So I'll just give you a brief overview about what automaton AI is. The presentation is there. So we started, I'll just, basically the OS statement for automaton is basically we wanted to democratize the data by providing a platform and services around these data sets which corporates has, by giving them proper guidance, by giving them actual collaboration opportunities, by giving them actual guidance in terms of services in a very cost effective way. That's basically what automaton is looking forward to over the period of time, so that every startup, every corporate can get into this particular domain, and then it becomes easy for startup and other enterprises as well to develop their own AI skill sets and AI algorithms. So this is where we are today. We founded in October 2018. We are a team of 20 plus data scientists today. And I'm very proud to say that most of these data scientists are since day one with us in terms of like the model, the data that we have worked with and also the algorithms that we have developed so far. So we have been working actually into 25 different problem statements. If you ask me like what are the kind of problem statements we are working on, like today, just today we got another project which was our 25th project, which we are working in terms of AI model development on the real world data set. So that's where we are here today, and our major motto is to basically increase the efficiency of data scientists so that it reduces the cost for the data scientists, and ultimately it reduces the time, energy and efforts that are there for the AI model development. So that is something what was our major objective and motto of the platform development that we have done. Next. So this is how, just a small introduction about AI, like this is how the AI looks like, where you have an AI as a big umbrella. So you think about this, let's say you're thinking about the Google ads or the ads that you are able to see on your YouTube. That is something what we are giving in terms of as an application. So machine learning, deep learning becomes a subset of all these applications that we are talking about. No, go back. So this just run once. No, let's go. Yeah. So this is how the platform looks like. Now you can see while developing an application, you need to take care of all these things because data repository is very important. You have feature engineering, that is where we are talking about all the data pre-processing, labeling and all those things. Then we have model training and model serving. So this is what every data scientist does today. And this entire process we have brought it in one platform, and that's why we call this as a DLOps platform, which is all basically talking from the perspective of deep learning ecosystem. And moving ahead, MLOps is something where the machine learning, where the tabular data processing comes into picture. So, next slide. This is the problem segment which I was talking about, that aggregation is needed in terms of not only aggregation, you need to increase speed, efficiency and everything in terms of model development, and that problem statement we have solved using the solution that we have. Next slide. By giving this as a Advit studio to the corporates, to the data scientists, so that they can develop their own algorithms and they can deploy these algorithms in real world production on embedded edge devices. So embedded edge devices, basically I'll just give you a simple example. The cameras over here are being connected to NVR. So now think about this, cameras are actually directly connected to edge devices, where you will understand how many people are sitting in this room today or how many people are smiling at a particular joke or at a particular, like what are the expressions of those people. So this is all happening in real time today. So you might be aware about the concept Amazon Go. Amazon Go is a cashless store that has been there in San Francisco and also in New York. So these are the two stores where you just have to walk in and collect the items and walk out. You don't have anyone talking about like what is the price and all those things, and no cash checkouts, nothing. So you just walk in and walk out by picking up the items. So that is the level where the AI needs to be, I mean, people are developing AI. So I've been reading about this. There are somewhere around 36,000 sensors in that particular store to make this as a cashless store. So think about this, you are getting data from 36,000 sensors continuously, either image, either videos, or even like other sensors, LiDAR, and all those things. So wherever they have deployed, this is the kind of AI ecosystem or AI application we are talking about. So out of that, now people detection is one of the models. So that's a deep learning model. So that's where AI, machine learning and deep learning comes into picture. So this is how the Android Studio works today. So all the way, like the process which I was talking about, this is the end-to-end data labeling, data pre-processing, data management, model development, model training, model deployment. So this entire process is basically from the data science perspective is what we have brought it to one single platform, and that is what we are talking with a lot of different corporates and enterprises to subscribe from the perspective of to develop their own AI algorithms. So it can, a very important thing is now once we have developed a platform, you can't have this platform at one particular look, you can't have restrictions on the platform. So that's why we have made it location agnostic, time agnostic, even framework agnostic. So you can have any other frameworks as well. That is where the technicalities we have taken into consideration from the model development and deployment. So I'll stop here from the presentation perspective, but overall I'll just give you a brief overview in terms of like what our journey is and how much I'm thankful to PCSIC.
Last 30 seconds.
Yeah. So this is something what I would say it's a very collaborative stage, PCSIC overall, where we have got a lot of support from specifically like Uday sir, where he continuously keeps on calling you in terms of like if there are new activities happening, if there are new events happening, and if there are like any other support, even for fundraising in between, we had a discussion. So whatever it needs to be there for a startup, you have it in PCSIC, and I'm very much proud to be associated to be PCSIC as an incubator for over last 8 months almost, and looking forward for a very bright journey ahead as well in collaboration with PCSIC. And I will request any of the startup founders over here, please be a part of our ecosystem and take this journey ahead for your own startup as well, because at the end of the day it's all a collaborative approach, and that's what PCSIC has taught Automaton as well, and I'm very much thankful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Bhushan, and I request today, sir, to kindly felicitate Bhushan for his huge achievement. Thank you very much. I am going to invite on stage Mr. Akshay Bhamre from Parking Pal. Going further, you have only 5 minutes because we are having the time constraints. So 5 minutes for each presentation. You're very much excited for your presentation. बस समय की पाबंदी है, तो shortcut में आपको बोलना है. So just give us the gist of your success story. All right. So thank you so much, and over to you.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Akshay Bhamre. I am the founder and CEO of Parking Pal. So Parking Pal is a parking marketplace that connects drivers with local property owners who have underused parking spaces. Because we already know that parking is a real problem and it's already everywhere. It's not about Pune hai ya Mumbai hai. It's everywhere. Even if you go to US or Europe, it's almost everywhere. So that's why we decided to build a marketplace. So earlier I thought that I will make a consumer facing app. But later I found that the parking problems cannot be solved only by building a consumer facing application. So we need to build a solution that will be based on community. Like it's a community-based marketplace. So let's say if you are a driver, you can find who can pay for parking spaces, and if you have underused or extra parking space, then you can also monetize it by listing on our platform. So that's the way we can also contribute to our society, because I feel to solving a parking problem is not only a responsibility of municipal corporation, because there are so many municipal corporations have limited parking spaces, but as a personal individuals or business corporations, we have so many parking places which are underutilized, और sometimes उनका कोई यूज भी नहीं करता है, ऐसी चीज़ें होती है. So by using our platform, we connect all the dots. So talking about my talking about my personal experience. So I have studied dual masters from Rome Business School and UCOM Spain. So after my masters, I worked with Toyota Italia for 3 years, and I came back to India, and then I launched my startup. So 8 months ago, I was only a single person in my team, and right now we are the team of 5, and we can compete to any of our competitors in the Indian market because we have a very strong team. Yeah, and I would like to say thank to the PCSIC for giving me all the mentorship and required support. Yeah, that's it.
Akshay, stay back. Still Uday, please join us on the stage. Akshay, you have to come back. Yes, we are going to felicitate you very quickly with this. Bhavesh sir is there by any chance? Okay, I'm also going to invite on stage right now Narendra Navle. Please join us. Here is the moment for you, the glorious one. Many congratulations for your achievement, and we wish you all the best. Mr. Narendra Navle from Horizon Graphics. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Please go to that show folder. Scroll down. Show. Go down. The show one, yes. Okay. Right. Just hold it here. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. We have our startup in virtual tourism. So it's a innovation-based technology. What we know all over the world, metaverse. तो मार्क ज़करबर्ग ने 28th of October 22 को बोल दिया था, but fortunately we are working in this field for more than 4 or 5 years in the past. We have experience of working with MNCs, the big MNCs like in PCMC area, even in Germany and USA. So we are working on this similar field based on software solution and the services actually. So we were working on this technology front end, giving them solutions for their technology, innovations, designs, visualization. And COVID brought up this idea, and we came up with this deep technology VR, that is a virtual tourism. So what we have come up with, can you please play that metaverse? Second last. Right. So our journey is here. We just created this virtual showroom for Sharyu Toyota Maharashtra, and anyone can go in this showroom and experience the field 1:1 as if you go in a real showroom. And we also have given the features like you can be welcomed by the virtual receptionist there, and you can explore the areas as you do in a real life. So this could be the first example. So the virtual assistant is there, and you can explore it as if you do it in real life. So this was our lockdown's first assignment we did. So it is giving you the actual exact feel as if there are placed screens or TVs inside, and you can see the whatever product advertisement or videos going on as they are in real life. So they just wanted to give the feel, because the lockdown, we all know that traveling was restricted, people were unable to go to the locations or any spots they want to, but then in that case, how to make the businesses run and have the commercial things keep on going. So this was one of the ways you took lead, and we were fortunate enough to work with them. Okay, so you can close this video. I'll show you the another one. Though recently, we just got an opportunity to work with MIT Kothurud's virtual library POC, and I'm glad, yes. So we completed that recently, just 15 days before. This is also expected to come on Metaverse. So this is as built as per their map. This is not the VR screen recorded, but I'm just showing you. This is the example. And this is the whole big library wherein thousands of books are placed. And what we have idea is the users across the world, or the students, they can go to the virtual library of MIT and they can go to any specific section, pick up the book, and they can read or whatever they can enjoy. So this is going to come on Metaverse very soon. We hope this goes in a right pace. So I feel this is really inspiring to work with these kind of projects, and I'm very sure India has a lot of talent. So in coming future, there will be too many opportunities for freelancers or those who are really enthusiastic to work on the metaverse asset creation. So all over the world, when we go into virtual shops or virtual malls, we find the VR shopping, what we know. So if you have the headgear, you can definitely wear it and have a more immersive experience. You can go inside shops like जैसे हम लोग अभी Star Bazaar या Big Bazaar में जाते हैं. So similarly, you can visit any mall from Bangalore or Karnataka, sitting in your house, and you can do the VR shopping there itself. But whatever things you purchase or click or add to the cart, those things have to be present there in 3D environment, and that is called an asset. So I really see that there will be huge scope for metaverse asset creation in near future. So this is what the area we are working, and our proposal is we are now working on forts, palaces, heritage sites, and temples. So we wish that the people we are in discussion with and the investors we are pitching to them. So soon something will happen. We will bring all this data, all these things on a metaverse, so that anyone can visit any place in this India virtually and enjoy as like a virtual physical tourism. So, thank you.
Yes, let's hear it from Mr. Narendra. Very, very innovative concept, I must say, because the shelf life of content has becoming a real challenge what we are facing. So this is really, really inspiring. So thank you so very much, Mr. Uday. Join us for the felicitation. Please give him big hand. With this, we are coming to the end of the start story, and then we have our last story to be told. And I'm going to invite on stage Miss Sushmita from Take Pose. Sushmita, please join us. Welcome on the stage. Let's give it up for Sushmita from Take Pose. Yes, over to you.
Hi everyone. Sushmita Kaneri here. I am founder of Good Luck Tech Pose. It's a social enterprise, and as this is a success story segment, let me narrate the story of Good Luck for you all. So I'm a software engineer by qualification, and that's where I pivoted my career as a social entrepreneur by leveraging tech to create social impact. So it started amidst pandemic, wherein me and my mother, we started visiting tribal and rural areas, and that's where we understood that there is a lack of transparency in the social sector, wherein the fund utilization, how it is happening, that's not visible. But that's where we found a gap, that let's bring this transparency in the social sector. But when we visited this tribe and the rural areas, we came to know that just giving them funds we are solving just a bit of the problem. But the bigger problem lies in how to give them a channel and to direct them that how they can bring in self-sustainable model in their lives so that they don't have to keep migrating from their tribes or the rural areas. That's where we got Good Luck, wherein so these are the challenges in the social sector: transparency, lack of self-sustenance. There is a lot of potential work happening in the rural areas and the tribal areas, but they don't have the visibility for the same. And lastly, streamlining, having an organized approach towards their own business models. So that's where we provided a solution. So we provide crowdfunding firstly, so that they can kickstart their projects, impact-driven projects. Next, we offer is skill training and volunteering support, so that if they need some sort of skill training, such as like making some candles or Madhubani art, so we help them tie up with a volunteer network. And lastly, once their products are made, we help them sell from our marketplace so that they can earn livelihood. Now, what's the knack of tech over here? In the crowdfunding, it's block by blockchain techniques so that you have a clear penny by penny utilization report. Though it be a donation of 1 rupee or 1 lakh rupee, that doesn't matter. But transparency and the trust is what we are gaining through this platform. So let's look at one of the case study. This is in Katkari. This is Katkari tribe in Raigad, Maharashtra. So this tribe is going to go on extinct in the next 50 years, and that's what we brought into that how can we leverage the skill set this tribe has by creating some sort of beautiful products. So we raised crowdfunds for their raw material. Next, we provided skill training for these ladies, out of which they made certain beautiful tribal ecosystem articles. And lastly, these articles were then sold through our marketplace into corporate, under corporate gifting opportunities, wherein these ladies got 4x returns, and now they are starting their own small businesses right out of their tribe in Raigad. So this is one of the case study. Now, so we pivoted from being just a donation platform providing transparency to an empowerment platform. And in the last 6 months of the pivot, we have empowered 500 people, 250 donors are onboarded. The ticket size is 2,500 per donation, individual donations I'm talking about. We have reached 5 states and 1 union territory of India, impacting 8 UN SDGs, and also we have raised 5.7 lakhs worth crowdfund in the last 6 months organically. Now our approach is into performance marketing and to collaborate with organizations so that together we can create this empowering impact and make tribal, rural and humble background communities self-sustainable and not dependable on us. So that's where Good Luck vision is heading for the next year, 2023, that let's empower 5,000 individuals in this 1 year. So this is the team who is making it possible, wherein we have Dr. Divakar Goyal sir, ex-director of Ministry in Civil Aviation, guiding us on the regulations and the operations, Kritika ma'am on the operation, and Arvind sir on the innovation and social work. These are some of our awards and recognition. We are funded under Citibank CSR. We are among the top 12 startups, social enterprise, selected across Asia Pacific region under Singapore's Credit Suisse and Impact program. So that's us. Let's create an impact together. Thank you.
Thank you so much for running us through impactful presentation that has really impacted our mind, and we wish you all the best. With this, we are coming to the end of these stories. I hope you loved it, and this is a small token of love to Shushmita for her huge achievement. So did you all found it interesting? Yes or no? अच्छा लगा? है ना? Eye opener था post lunch? Yes? Okay, with this, how we can forget our finance supporting partner, Bank of Baroda. Please join us team for this love of appreciation for supporting our cause for today. I request Kiran Vede sir, please join us on the stage. Give big hands to Bank of Baroda. one of the sponsor and our partner for today. Thank you so much, and then we come to the end of this beautiful startup story segment, and now this is the time in the clock to talk more about women entrepreneurships, and we have some excellent people on board. Now we are going to hear one by one to their stories, to their success, and with this we have interesting panelists on board. We are very honored and privileged. This is the moment of pride very much. Yes, since we are lagging time, so I have to really hurry with many things, so apologies for that. We have with us our guest speaker who is going to join us on the stage, Ms. Jilan Chaubal, Director for Kesari. Welcome, ma'am. Please join us on the stage to talk more about her. From the age of 15, she started assisting Kesari Bhau, her father. Volume, please. Yes. Welcome, ma'am. Just small brief on her achievement. She joined her father's business, and we all know, like Kesari is all about touring business. They are into travel. So in her 10-year stay in the US, she started her own travel company, A to Z Tour and Travel, and ran it successfully until she came back to Pune. To her credit, within a span of few years, she made Pune the second largest market for Kesari. She has served as chairperson of the tourism committee at Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture for 4 years now and won many awards and accolades. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much giving us your prize time. We really welcoming you here. Moving ahead very quickly, we have with us Ms. Suhasini Kirloskar, co-founder, Market Access Consultant. I request everyone to kindly please clap for them. They are very much having their precious profile. To talk more about them, Ms. Kirloskar is an entrepreneur and co-founder of Market Access Consulting, which provides strategic marketing, execution support and training to B2B brands. Suhasini ji has an MBA from NMIMS Mumbai University and awarded as one of the 100 most influential market technology leader. To her credit, we welcome you, ma'am, on this special glorious day here. Welcome one more time. Yes, again one more interesting profile with us. Miss Lavina ma'am is here. She is the founder of Rent and Attire. With big hands, we are welcoming her on the stage to talk more about her. She is founder of Out of the Box business Rent and Attire. Miss Lavina is an HR professional turned entrepreneur herself. She is holding 20 years of experience in human resource and operations. She founded Rent and Attire in 2015, which has been recognized as an innovative fashion rental startup and top 10 best online rental startup in 2019 by Silicon India Startup City. She is also an honorary member of the WICCI, which stands for Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as a state president Startup Council. There's so much to talk about of this brilliant women, but I'm cutting it very short due to time constraint, and so we have our 3 ladies on board, and there's one man who is joining this gang to talk more about women entrepreneurship, and he is none other than Mr. Uday Deo, manager of Pimpri Chinchwad Startup Incubation Center, Pune. Yes, आप सोच रहे होंगे कि women startup के बारे में सिर्फ ladies क्यों बात करेगी? तो yes, we have the strong man on board. He is also going to talk and support women entrepreneurship here. So as you all know, sir is manager at PCSIC. So welcome sir, over to you.
Thanks for coming, and we have our moderator today, Bhavesh ji. He is monitoring the panel.
So I'm back, guys. So it's a very interesting day today, right? Two strong men trying to figure out, what are we doing in the women's world today, or why this panel. But my name is Bhavesh Kothari. We met an hour ago on a nice session on women entrepreneurship. So I thought, why don't we include this as a part of the entire agenda to talk about the women power that we are seeing today, right? So today's panel discussion is more on a very interesting topic that we selected. We thought we should look at it, right? Where are we as a women entrepreneur? Because the whole purpose is, it's not about being gender biased, it is about being gender neutral. But it can only be possible when we have both of the hands join and move forward, right? So I'm very, very honored to moderate this very light panel. I've been very blessed to view all their profiles, go through the entire journey of how they have been able to build their enterprise. So I will try to deliberate as much as possible, try to make sure that we get the golden nuggets and wisdom from three inspiring women and a man who's been driving innovation and startup ecosystem. Let me start with the first question that we have prepared, right? As an entrepreneur and an industrial thought leader, what do you think has changed when it comes to women in entrepreneurship? Zilla ma'am, first we start with you.
I think a lot has been changed because you see today women in every industry, which was not there probably 10-15 years ago. We started in business when I was 15, that means almost 35 years ago. Very few women were there, in almost none, in travel industry. And today, maximum women are there in travel industry. Almost 70% staff of ours is women. So that kind of scenario. When it comes to entrepreneurship, I think we are in the best era of entrepreneurship today. Have you seen 10 years ago so many incubation centers? So the things around us are changing, and more women are coming forward, especially in businesses. I'm also heading TIES women wing, TIES an organization for fostering entrepreneurship. And I see amazing work women are doing. And not just business, but so much innovation and so many problems are being solved today. So it is definitely better environment today than any time before. So all the women here, I would say, just think big and go for it. Have big dreams, and if you work for it, I think you can achieve whatever you have decided, whatever your goal is. Thank you.
Yeah, Jailam's words are so encouraging. But there's also a lot of more stuff that needs to be done. So 2 weeks ago, I was conducting a session on marketing with a startups meetup. And there were about 100 or 125, 150 people in the room, and there were about 15 women, 10 to 15 women. So the number of women who are coming forward with startups is still, it can be much better, much more. And I think, there is certain socio-cultural, family, media biases which we need to get over. So, for example, so much of media, you know, there'll be an ad with a father putting the hand on the daughter's shoulder and some Pitaji ka pyar or something like that headline. And the ad is actually for some big wedding venue or jewelry, usually jewelry. So the thing is, there is some underlying message in this. You see, the underlying message is that if your daughter, if you have a daughter, you bring her up with a nice personality, some decent education, and then you put aside money for a wedding and jewelry, the assumption is that she will then find a partner or a family who will financially take care of her. So the feeling is that there is security. Okay, there's an assumption that if I put aside money for my daughter's wedding or jewelry, there is some security. And maybe that was true, but after meeting many thousands and thousands of women over the years, I can tell you that the number of women who are getting security from this assumption is going down every day. Okay, so I'll tell you what happens. Many women don't find that perfect partner. You find that partner who looks perfect, the marriage doesn't last. The man's career doesn't last. And sometimes the man doesn't last. Okay, people are having heart attacks in their 30s. So these are the things which happen, these are the realities of life. Now I can tell you, for thousands and thousands of women, it's the education and the career which only is the security today. At every point of time, it's the one thing that the woman can draw upon again and again and again. It's the one investment, the one equity which never runs out. And with that having been said, why this focus on this marriage expense and jewelry? It's totally wrong. If you have, any of you have a daughter, or you yourself are young, or if you have women in the family, or small girls in the family, if you have 5 lakh rupees, then you set up an investor pitch for your daughter every week, every month. और उसको 50,000 rupees 10 बार दे दीजिए ना. Because VC से कि 10 investment में से एक तो अच्छा हो जाता है. Right? So the family will also be rich and the daughter will also be rich, yeah? And yeah, उसके आगे जो उसके husband है और family है वो तो आ ही जाएंगे. But this is the change we need to make.